Duotone has completely redesigned the Freestyle and Wave Wingfoil Carve 3.0. For our test, we have the 950 model for you, which refers to the surface area in square centimeters. What we have here is the D-Lab version, a so-called monoblock. Part of the fuse is screwed directly to the mast here, and together with the front wing forms a single unit. In addition, we have the short tail at 37 centimeters, which brings the total fuse length to 60 centimeters. There's also the stabilizer or rear wing model PX175, which is mounted separately on the tail. And finally, for the test, we use the 84 centimeter long the D-Lab carbon mast. Following the design of the Glide, the Carve now also features a significantly extended profile in the middle. The rear outline transitions into slender tips via a concave shape. The wingspan of this wing is 81 centimeters, with an aspect ratio of 6.9. The front wing is only slightly curved, has a somewhat thicker profile in the middle, and tapers very slimly towards the tips. The leading edge in general is overall relatively slender in shape, and it has a rather small radius. To take off, the new Carve 3 requires only a little speed to be supplied with clean airflow right away. In doing so, it doesn't rise abruptly, but rather ascends smoothly and linearly, providing an overall very controlled riding experience. The Carve 2, that is, the previous model, had already demonstrated very good performance in this area as well. But the new model lifts off even earlier than its predecessor. We tested the whole thing with a variety of boards, 45, 80 and 95 liters, with wing sizes between 3, 4 and 4.7. And in all cases the foil could be trimmed very easily and neutrally in the respective box on each board. The difference in how the foil lifts off compared to its predecessor may be slight, but what really makes it stand out so clearly is the impressive acceleration potential and the maximum top speed, both of which are noticeably higher on the Carve 3. Here, the measured values, especially for top speed, vary by a good 2 to 3 kilometers per hour under normal riding conditions. Let's move on to axis stability. This is where things get a little more complex. The pitch axis is actually very stable, mainly because the foil accelerates so quickly and is supplied with a high flow velocity, which results in a high level of stability. In the lowest wind range, you have to control the foil a bit more actively on the pitch axis. Then it feels, in general, overall, roughly like the previous model, but by no means worse. If you just let it run, which is easily possible, it is absolutely stable on the pitch axis. On the roll axis, however, it is a bit more sensitive than the previous model, but in return it is significantly more agile. But more on that in a moment. The yaw axis is also very responsive. Overall, all axes provide very clear feedback. You get a very linear signal as to how far you can or may go here without exceeding the maximum angle range. Let's move on to one of the most exceptional features of this foil, its responsiveness and gliding behavior. The Carve 3 is absolutely outstanding in terms of agility. It requires hardly any effort to initiate a roll movement or to simply switch back and forth between yaw and roll. Everything works together very harmoniously and smoothly. During a long, drawn-out bottom turn, the foil generates a lot of drive so that with some skill you can exit the turn faster than you entered it. In terms of responsiveness, this is absolutely, truly top class. And all of this is thoughtfully combined with a completely and thoroughly newly developed, innovative gliding behavior. That is also the major difference compared to the previous model where people said, okay, the Carve 2 is a very nice wave foil and also suitable for freestyle and other areas of use. And it turned very harmoniously and easily, but there was still room for improvement in terms of gliding performance. And this extra gliding ability has been fully incorporated into the new model. The riding performance of Duotone's Glide model, which is fittingly also called Glide, is almost matched here. How exactly they managed to achieve this, even though the wingspan isn't actually that large, remains a bit of a mystery. And if you ever run out of steam, or if you find yourself too far in the flat, or simply have no power available, the pumping efficiency of the new Carve 3 also proves to be very strong. With light pumping, the foil can be easily accelerated and kept in motion. When it comes to jumping characteristics, the Duotone development team has also done an excellent job with their work. Thanks to the higher speed, the Carve 3 has gained a more progressive and explosive pop. With the added agility that the Carve 3 offers on the roll axis, you need significantly less force to edge and can initiate the edging process for takeoff even faster, with less effort, and more easily trigger it more precisely. This results in improved pop. The re-pop has also become somewhat more explosive overall, although not quite as much as with a comparable Armstrong MA, which we used for comparison. Overall, however, the performance here is absolutely top class. In conclusion, it can be said that the Duotone development team has specifically improved this foil in all areas that could potentially have been subject to criticism. The riding performance, in terms of acceleration and speed, notably and significantly surpasses that of the previous model. When it comes to turning agility, it is among the foils that require the least amount of effort to execute the tightest turns with maximum drive, thanks to the combination of roll and yaw. The gliding performance is so impressive that it's hard for us to describe how, with such a relatively small wingspan, after all, this is a true mid-aspect foil, it's possible to achieve so much glide. This definitely makes us excited for future developments. For a foil designed for wave freestyle performance, the Carve 3 is surprisingly easy to ride. However, there is a difference, especially when you look at our test of the Indiana Marlin, as you can see. Some might say that one was at least just as good, maybe even better or whatever. The difference is the Marlin is an all-round foil with impressively high performance and an exceptionally high level of reliability. With the Carve 3, on the other hand, you still have to carefully take control of the foil here and there, especially in very small and specific areas. But if you want to avoid that, you can achieve the same stability as with the Marlin foil by using the 47 centimeter long tail. And if you're aiming for maximum performance, this incredibly, exceptionally and masterfully tuned foil serves you perfectly in waves and freestyle.